The views of the guest are that of the guests and do not represent nor reflect the views and opinions of the Lockoutmen channel, the Recruiter Call channel, nor its host. This site content is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only.
Imagine your phone dies in an unfamiliar area. You're just trying to deliver some food, and the next thing you're running for your life with a bullet in your back. Not because you did something wrong, not because you was threatening anyone, but because you simply asked for directions at the wrong house.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for listening. I am Lockoutmen. This DoorDash driver, he's an immigrant. This happened on May 2nd, 2025. So it happened a while back in Chester, New York. He was just out there doing his job, but it's at night. He got lost while trying to make a delivery. Unfortunately, his phone died, his GPS is out, and like most of us, he started asking nearby people and homeowners for directions. Eventually, he ended up at the home of 48-year-old John J. Riley III, who, by the way, is a highway superintendent. Instead of offering some help or just turning him away, Riley allegedly told the driver to leave and then thought it was a good idea to brandish his gun and shoot multiple times as the driver was trying to drive away.
Hold on.
Unfortunately, one of those bullets hit the driver in the back. Despite being shot and seriously injured, the driver somehow managed to drive himself back home to Middletown to get some help. Riley has since been arrested and charged with felony assault and criminal possession of a weapon. So drivers, listen, I know this is not a trucking content. I do gig work, so I do touch on both sides because I am a Spark driver, a DoorDash driver. So I kind of see some of the situations that these drivers get themselves into. We go into particular parts of the city in the neighborhoods where it is like super dark, where there's no lights, when you be delivering to people that don't even have the courtesy to even leave a porch light on for you. And it's kind of hard driving in those neighborhoods trying to figure out which address that you're delivering to. So my suggestion is do like I do. I rarely deliver at night though, but I used to. So drivers, make sure you guys get you a flashlight, like one of those high beam flashlights for protection and to see the addresses and to make sure you could see if it's accessible. So make sure you definitely do that. I have one, you should have one. Drivers, there's a real sickness in this country when we normalize fear to the point where someone asking for directions, a basic human interactions, is seen as a threat. And I want to point this out. This wasn't a case of somebody was trying to break in. The driver was working. He was just lost. He was just trying to complete a delivery. But instead of being treated like a human, he was treated like an intruder and left bleeding. What kind of mindset do you have to be in where your first reaction is to grab a gun instead of just saying, hey, I can't help you, and call it the night? This wasn't self-defense. This was aggression. The homeowner, John, chose violence. And this is somebody with power in the community, which makes it even more crazier. He's a superintendent, deciding that the delivery driver didn't deserve the same grace or safety as anybody else. So I can see both sides of the coin here. But before I go into my take on those sides, I'm going to talk about from the delivery driver side first, because this is now becoming an issue of every delivery driver's face when they be accepting lowball offers that literally put their life in danger. Like, they get these offers that's $2, $3, $4, and a lot of the time it's just not worth it, but they take it anyway because they're trying to make some money. They're trying to take care of their families. These are immigrants that quite possibly can't get a literal job here, and they have to do things like gig work in order to make ends meet. So here's a driver that has an order. Unfortunately for him, his phone dies out, which quite possibly could be an issue. That's something that you should always keep in mind when you do gig work, because if you're multi-app like me, your battery tends to drain out a lot faster. You got multiple apps running at the same time. And these gig apps do drain the phone a lot. I quite literally find myself to keep my phone on charge every time I get in and out of the car. I could start off with a 99% battery, and then after I get finished with everything, I literally end up with maybe about a 79 or 75% battery. That's 25% usage right there. And if you don't keep your phone charged or keep it on charge, you'll end up drained just like this young man. But still though, he did not inspect to get in his car, get an order, get to an area where his phone just up and dies, and now he's lost in bumfuck suburbia. He comes across this house, goes up to the door, rings the doorbell, and being that he has limited English, he's trying to say, hey, I'm a delivery driver, and I just want to see if this is your delivery and or how to get out of bumfuck suburbia, only to be met with a guy that works for the state, city, or whatever the case. And instead of trying to offer some help, he woke up and chose violence. Like, literally came out the house with his gun, shot in the ground first to scare him off. The guy runs back to his car. He gets into the car. He shoots at the car. Not once, but twice. He shoots at the car 2 times. Now, I understand if you try to scare somebody, that's different. You to shoot down at the ground, I get that part. Maybe shoot up in the air, I get that part. But you literally pointed the gun in the direction of the young man and shot twice. And one of those bullets struck the driver. Now, again, like I said, there's both sides to this coin, and I will get to his side in a minute, but still though. Now, you would think in the article that is going around, it says allegedly. No, it's not allegedly. It's on video. It's a fact that this man in 4K shot at this man for reasons we can't fathom to understand until we actually get in court and he explains in court what he was quote unquote feeling that night. But again, like I said, I'll get to that part because I can see both sides of the coin. So again, here's the driver scared out of his life, bleeding profusely, and instead of going to the hospital, he runs all the way home. Like, literally, he was able to find his way out of suburbia. So he gets home, he goes to the hospital, and again, he didn't think that day, that morning, that early, he didn't think he was going to end up in the hospital at the end of the night, taking bumfuck orders from DoorDash.
Hold on!
Enjoying what you're hearing? Ready for unfiltered trucking talk
that tells it like it is? The Trucking Commentary Podcast with Lockoutmen delivers authentic reactions and engaging conversations about the latest trucking content from across YouTube and TikTok. Help us reach more drivers like you. Hit that like button and leave a comment to boost our visibility in YouTube's algorithm. Your support helps us deliver more of the no-nonsense trucking commentary you've come to like from Lockoutmen.
I could see both sides of the coin here. So on the flip side of the coin, we have the homeowner, and he's inside chilling, hanging out, doing whatever. And then here comes some random person come knocking on their door or ringing their doorbell. I guess with the ring or the camera doorbells, you're able to answer it. And here's the driver with broken English trying to explain his situation. Sir, I got a DoorDash here. Is this your DoorDash? My phone's dead. I'm trying to find my way out of suburbia. Here's the homeowner though, like some random dude on his property at night with what he thought was maybe an intruder or a person that's trying to actively do something nefarious. We all know that he wasn't, but the homeowner, on the other hand, is not thinking that. So instead of meeting the driver and talking to him through the Ring doorbell, because he probably could have just said, hey, this is the wrong house. I didn't order no DoorDash. And the way to get out of Bump America, you go left, right, bam, bam, boom, or just circle the way you came in. Okay, that should have been the end of it. That should have been the end of it. But being that this guy was afraid, let's call it what it is. He was afraid for his safety, his family's safety, his property. Because at night, here's some random guy, as he's thinking as a fake delivery driver, because it does happen. It does happen. That's how break-ins happen. Some fake guy comes and trying to pretend he's what he's not, and then crazy stuff happens after that. Here's this guy, this homeowner, he's thinking that. He's thinking that. And while he's thinking that, he goes and gets his weapon and runs in what he's thinking the intruder off his property, while at the same time shooting warning shots so that the guy could hurry up and go. So again, like I said, I can see both sides of the coin here. I can see the side of the driver and I can see the side of the homeowner, because things like that happens. Things like that happens. Things for the on the driver's side of things, I don't think he anticipates things like that to happen. But on the homeowner side of things, and you see articles of people being swindled, people being B&E'd, people pretending to be gig workers or anything like that to gain access to somebody's house. It happens all the time to older people. The homeowner, I don't agree of how he went by and doing things, because he could have just easily just came out, brandished his weapon, and maybe the first warning shot in the ground would have been sufficed. But you took it a step further, sir. This is what I don't get, and what he's charged with. How can he be charged with felonious assault? That don't make no sense to me. That ain't premeditated murder, because dude intentionally pointed the gun at the car while the dude was leaving the scene. Ain't this how police assess the threats? If the threat back is turned, he's no longer a threat, right? At least this is what I've been taught through all these years as far as self-defense goes. If you was to run up on that person and that person turns around and start walking away from you, then there is no longer a threat, right? But yet, as this DoorDash driver is leaving the scene, fearing for his life, as he should, you still decide to point the gun in his direction and shoots. Not once, but twice, striking the driver in the back, and they're gonna say that they're gonna arrest you for felonious assault. That's not felonious assault. That's premeditated murder, bruh. Or if not premeditated, it's attempted, right? But of course, we'll see how all this will play out in court. So, drivers, this incident is a stark reminder of the dangers that the delivery drivers can face while simply trying to do their deliveries. It is important for the delivery driver to definitely take precautions to ensure their safety while they're working. But see, drivers, here's a deeper issue. We shouldn't have to live in a society where knocking on the wrong door could get you killed. But it's unfortunately that we do. See, where delivering food can actually get you shot. Where your job, a job that keeps people fed, that keeps the gig economy alive, could end in a hospital bed because someone saw you as a threat. But in this situation, the driver was just lost. To the gig workers out there, listen, you guys need to be careful. You definitely need to keep your phone charged. You might want to let some of your loved ones know where you at. You also need to stay aware. You also need to stay diligent. Keep your head on the swivel at all times. But also, this shouldn't fall sorely on us. We need stronger accountability and less tolerance for people who use violence as their first line of response. See, drivers and the gig workers out there, these kind of stories are wake-up calls. You need to keep your eyes open. You need to protect yourself out there. And as always, keep your phone charged.